Tonight's the biggest star in boxing. Jake Davis. And joining the beat of the game is Miami resident hip-hop star, influencer Ruby Rose.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
The face-off between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis on Netflix's Uncut was a pressure cooker of tension that instantly captivated the boxing world. The atmosphere was thick with energy as Tank suddenly shoved Jake during their stare down, a raw display of emotion that proved this fight is about more than just height. The two exchanged heated words, their expressions a mix of cold confidence and simmering irritation. While many viewers were shocked by how small Tank looked next to Jake, others argued that in a fight, this unpredictable skill and timing could easily erase the size difference.
We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that, but the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
Teddy Atlas, a veteran boxing trainer known for his sharp insights, didn't hold back. He described Jake as towering over Tank, saying the smaller man would need a ladder to even reach his chin. For Atlas, while boxing is about skill and timing, physical dimensions still play a key role when the gap is this extreme. He compared it to Canelo's fight with Crawford, noting that even with a weight difference, those two still look naturally compatible. In this case, however, Atlas believed the physical imbalance was far too wide for it to be a fair contest.
Things, right? They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract. But I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance, you know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. Well, but we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but you know, a little different. The size difference was, I mean, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping, and it made me think. And I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me. It's Rocky 3.
But Greg Hackett, another respected trainer, expressed unwavering confidence in Tank's mindset. According to him, Davis is not easily distracted by the noise or by Jake Paul's promotional antics. Inside reports from his camp reveal that Davis has been training with an intense laser-like focus, showing no signs of underestimating his opponent. His sparring partners have described him as sharp and relentless, pushing himself beyond his usual limits. For Tank, this fight isn't just about a paycheck, it's about proving that pure skill still triumphs over spectacle.
It's something for you new to do to try to keep you fresh and this and that, keep your name hot. You got to stay in the algorithms. You know, it's just a lot of pressure on fighters. And I feel like Tank being at, what is he, 30 years old? And you got kids. See, what people forget about is it come a time in a man's life where he just wants to slow down. You know what I'm saying? We can't all run around like we used to back in the day. I mean, that's tough to do. Sometimes you just want to sit down, enjoy your fruits, And I feel like that could be what he going through. He wanna just enjoy the fruits of his labor and enjoy life. And people don't want to hear that because they feel like you got more work to do. But it's his life.
Eddie Chambers, who once competed at heavyweight, offered a more balanced perspective. He reminded everyone that boxing history is full of smaller fighters defeating larger ones, and that people focusing too much on size were overlooking the importance of timing and technique. In his view, Jake's height and reach might give him an early advantage, but Tank's explosive footwork and tactical awareness could quickly close that gap. He stressed that fights aren't won by measurements, but by execution under pressure.
In the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul.
Timothy Bradley, a former champion turned analyst, offered strong support for Tank, labeling the fight easy money. His confidence stemmed from the vast difference in their professional experiences. He pointed out that Davis has spent years facing skilled, dangerous opponents, while Jake has fought a mix of retired athletes and crossover celebrities. Bradley believes the outcome will reflect the difference between a natural-born fighter and a latecomer to the sport.
That something like this can happen, but this is social media, this is what it's created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. He's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing, what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from it. And it ain't going to be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference, and all that. But he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's going to look bad. Tank is going to be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's going to knock him out or, but he's gonna feel it.
But Paulie Malignaggi, another former world champion, offered a harsh countertake, claiming that Tank's career has been overprotected. He argued that Davis hasn't fought anyone truly dangerous, and that his reputation is built more on highlight knockouts and careful matchmaking than on real top-tier competition. His comments reflect a broader debate within the boxing world about whether Tank has truly tested himself against the best.
Yeah, you prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out, Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah. False sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no. I told y'all it's the size of the heart. Right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here, and it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy, Like I said, man. Tank, please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot, man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro, so that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
Recent reports have suggested that Tank might be considering retirement after this high-profile matchup, with sources close to his team saying his motivation has shifted from chasing legacy to securing financial freedom. The massive payday from the Jake Paul fight could give him the security to step away from the sport on his own terms.
He's trying to clown people, but then he admits that Tank is the biggest name in Western boxing. So doesn't even make sense. Listen again.
Boxing, either the fans have gone down to the dumbest level possible, or the media themselves have gone down to the dumbest level possible for.
See, so he's already trying to roast the fans and anybody who says Tank's the face of boxing, basically calling people dumb, right? Oldest trick in the book. But then he says, I understand that Tank is probably the biggest name in the West.
Naming this guy as the face of boxing. I understand we don't have anything. The fact that
I understand we don't have anything. Keep listening.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name in the West at the moment.
Right. Maybe this is the biggest marquee name at the moment in the West. He is the biggest name in the West. Name somebody bigger. Right? Point blank, period. So you're off to a bad start. Name calling. Then you're acting like you don't understand it whilst mentioning he's the biggest name in boxing. And you're saying it's disturbing. Why is it disturbing?
It's certainly disturbing. But it also shows you that you can make anything into a star at this point.
Go band for band on what you making. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing, for sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates? Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're going to come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is going to knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight him. What does that say about Tank?
Showbiz the Adult, a popular boxing commentator, took a more nuanced nuanced approach, crediting Jake for revitalizing fan interest in the sport, but also recognizing the criticism surrounding his matchmaking choices. Daniel Cormier, a former UFC champion, offered a blunt critique, calling the fight boring and more of a business decision than a genuine competitive contest.
Boxing is going to sing his praises like a hero. Though Jake Paul is definitely appreciated by the boxing world when it comes to what he is giving to the sport, especially women's boxing, okay? I mean, it goes without saying that Jake Paul, an MVP, has added to the sport of boxing. But Jake Paul, the fighter, people are over his shit. There's a huge amount of boxing pugilists in the boxing community who's over his shit. And if Gervonta Tank Davis stops that, if he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
Help you up. We're going to see about it. Help you up. We're going to see.
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero. And that's the Black Two Sugars.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
he's been a world champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
In the end, this fight has become a lightning rod for debate, a perfect storm of spectacle, skill, and controversy. It's a clash that blurs the line between sport and entertainment, with fame and money playing as much a role as talent and legacy. And when that bell rings, the world will be watching to see if skill can truly conquer size. Stay tuned.